I definitely do. And I'm not a technical individual, so to speak. I'm not stupid, but these things can drive me a little crazy. Reggie's been teaching me a lot about this, though. He's the best
On which part?
on just getting it in and not, and not worrying and all of this and clicking on links and all of a sudden sound goes out or video goes out and all of this.
Got it. So I'm looking at you, Arnie. Baseball? Looks like?
Yes. Yeah.
Very cool.
And now I'm trying to make an endeavor in the art world, as you can see in back of me.
Okay. Detroit, 71, New York. Yeah, very cool. My dad was Pittsburgh Pirates for a couple years, but got hurt out of college.
Okay.
My cousin Mike played for the Red Sox pitcher, I think 3 years.
Nice.
But straight out of high school, and his mental capacity to handle the jump wasn't there, so it ended up, drugs, partying, lack of discipline, and crashed out.
You really need that. Mine was very difficult too. I went through it in the 70s and I was partying, Studio 54 and all of that.
Yeah.
You have to learn. And I was young, and it's different nowadays. There's more preparation, I think, because people are grabbing you when you're so much younger, but there's burnout so fast. You know, between everything they do, between the sabermetrics and and the workouts and and drive line and all that. What do you do, Steve, now?
I do the same thing I've always done. I create companies and I do things nobody in the world's ever done before.
Okay.
So, I mean, that sounds weird, Arnie. I've started 11 technology companies. I've taken 3 public, and 5 of them were the first one in the world to ever actually have created something, mostly around technology.
Tremendous. I mean, I'm not stupid. I kind of play a little. I'm dumb like a fox because sometimes these things drive me nuts when we're here right now. I would much prefer, as I'm sure you would, to speak with you. I'm doing some motivational speaking and things like that, and you can't do it either with you're wearing the mask or you can't. Even this, I need to see, the way we're operating now. I would rather be in your presence. You can feel me. You can feel the energy. You can feel my passion. I'm a very passionate individual about the things I believe in.
Yeah, I'm sending you something now. Hey, Brad just came and take a look at. I just interviewed this guy about a month ago. He's a friend of mine named David Krell.
Okay.
David wrote the book on the New York Mets popular culture. He wrote the book on the Yankees culture.
You have
to baseball.
Steve, I grew up in New York. 1969. I mean, I was a new.
Yeah, that's why I shared this with you. He wrote the book around the culture of the time that you were there.
I was a diehard Met fan and a Yankee hater.
Yeah.
And my mother grew up in Brooklyn, so she was a super die. And when I went from New York to Detroit, from Detroit to New York, she heard it before I did, and she said, "Arnie, the sun rises and sets in you. I can't root for you. I cannot root."
Yeah. It's an interesting time.
Totally.
I put a program together years ago. You might appreciate this as a quick story. I was working at Travelers Group, which is Sandy Weil, Pete Dawkins, like the big guys on Wall Street. I was in my 20s, and I was responsible for hiring and training people. And the baseball strike happened. Remember 95?
Right.
I hired a guy named John Eriks, who has minor league guy, first year up in the Pirates, never made any money. So he had 2 kids. So I hired him part-time financial services during the strike. And I learned about a lot of the minor leaguers would do, UPS and construct, because nobody's going to hire them when they're gone.
Oh, of course.
So I got a meeting. I was 24. I got a meeting with Donald Fear, head of the union.
Yeah.
Flew to New York. I had John with me. He was 6'7". He was the tallest pitcher in Major League Baseball at the time.
Oh.
And I put a program in place with Major League Baseball And what I presented to Donald Fears, I said, hey, I can hire any of these minor leaguers in any office in the country in financial services. It'll teach them how to manage their own money. If they make it, they'll make better decisions. If they don't make it, they'll know about money and can help the guys they grew up with. But I said, I want to do an educational program to teach them about money. And if they want to come to work, I'll put them in any office in the country.
Wow. Yeah, that's a very magnanimous kind of offer.
Yeah. Yeah. And he looked at me, he's like, all right, what do you need from me? And I said, honestly, Mr. Fear, nothing except one thing. And he goes, what's that? I said, I'm going to call every general manager on my own. And if they ask if I got your approval, all I need you to do is say yes.
And
he's like, done. He goes, done. I met him a year later, and he told me something funny. He goes, you know what, kid? He goes, I never got a single phone call asking about it. He goes, but I got 5 of them thanking me for having you come in.
Oh, that's I was
like, cool.
Yeah, that is absolutely tremendous. I'd love to talk to you after this about, my own finances, my own retirement. I feel like I'm gambling. I'm in the stock market, and it's a gamble. I play. As a matter of fact, I play out the technology as well. Right now, I'm exclusively in NVIDIA, and so it's just, it's a gamble. And I'd like to talk to you if you wouldn't mind it later.
Yeah. Most of what, and I can help on, I was in it for years. We trained probably 8,000 people. A bunch of my friends played baseball because I met them in the minor leagues. So you develop a friendship as they move up. And a lot of what we do now, though, is all around blockchain and crypto and fintech. And all the crypto is glorified penny stocks. People go, I don't understand it. I'm like, it's the same thing as a penny stock. You can go buy a 10-cent penny stock on the pink sheets and buy it at 10 cents and hope it goes to $1, or you can buy crypto at 10 cents and hopes it goes to $1. It's fundamentally they're the same thing.
The only thing I don't, when I hear the stories about people losing their code,
that's a problem.
$220 million was. So what is it? What happens with that money? It's just dead money.
It's gone. Yeah, it's just gone. Now that's changing because more of the systems are on now where you can put it in what's called a custody, just like the money at your bank, right? Okay. You put money at a bank, but if you show up, you've got a way to get it out of the bank if you've got ID and things like that. The early days, there was no bank, there was no place you could deposit things. It's all electronic. And so you had to have a password or a 10-phrase code. And if you forget it or lose it, it's gone. No customer service, nobody to call. So.
Yeah. Oh, no. So that's why I'm really nervous about the crypto. And, like I said, I got hit with, obviously, the pandemic. I was in, all the tech heavies, and I was forced to get out of some of them.
Yeah.
And then I started coming back a little bit, but I'm still short of where I need to be. So
investing it depends on your horizon and your appetite, and you only lose if you sell. So when the markets drop.
If I would have held through them, you want to know something? It would have been phenomenal. But when you're seeing, you
can't panic.
Yeah. I mean, I was dropping $75,000.
Can't panic. I had to do that with my dad. My dad was down, 250, 280, 250, 280,000 in his 401, and he's retired. He's like, I'm out. I'm like, Dad, you only lose if you sell. Don't touch it. You don't need it. Don't touch it. And it's all back up. He's actually up about 11%. But it's tough.
Yeah. Oh no. That's why I'd love to talk to you. But I'd rather do it off air. And we'll do it. So, do I have your email or whatever, or how do I?
Here, I'll send it to you.
Okay. If you want to send it to my email, I'll give you mine. Or send it on here. It's no problem.
I was gonna Hop in still has some issues. I was gonna try and just message you directly, but I'll put it in here this way.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, there you go. The bullseye guy. I like that. The bullseye.
Yeah, basically, Arnie, was a 10-step program I developed from 22 to 28. 6.5 years when I was doing sales training, I read 357 books.
Wow.
Which, again, sounds like a lot, but I was a professional athlete, too. I played professional soccer. I played junior Olympic volleyball. So I read one book a week, and the goal was to learn one skill out of that book and try and master that skill and then stack a new skill every week. So I would read and dissect the book, and I'd pick the best element to learn and then just try and stack skill sets over time.
Right.
So, all right, George has been let in. I guess the guys are coming around. Here we go.
I can see George.
Hello, guys. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
How are you doing, my friend? And then Brad doesn't have his camera on or something. I feel like I know. I don't know because I'm not technical. But all of a sudden, I got a little camera with a line through it for Brad. There's my buddy Brian.
Hey guys. How's everybody? Good, you guys. I was waiting for approval. I was hearing all the good stock tips from you guys. So,
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I got time to go invest in which cryptocurrency. How I can throw a baseball at 100 miles an hour like you are.
Take your pick. I can help you on all of it.
And I could never shoot as well as George Lynch in any sport. So, all right.
Hey, that's not saying much.
Oh man, come on! Everybody's at the top of the.
George, I got to tell you something. My best pickup game I was ever involved. It was me and Dr. J against Rick Barry and Wendell Ladner.
Wow.
It was, it's because they were working out at the Nassau Coliseum, Nassau Community College. That's where they were playing there, and I was working out down there, for spring training. And I knew the doc from some other, because we grew up in the same kind of neighborhoods, and it was a joke. Rick Barry. I mean, I could not believe, but I respect this. He would still grab my jersey or my shirt. He'd step on my shoes, even in a pickup game.
Oh yeah. But
hey, I loved it.
The kids don't play like that today. No tricks of the game. It's a lost art.
And the doc wanted me to shoot more, and I had to tell him.
Bandwidth too low.
My best pickup game, George.
Yeah.
Was with Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman in the back of a limo after a Chicago game, going to meet Michael Jordan at the House of Blues, smoking cigars and that. So, if the pickup there was between Scottie and Rodman, that was in Jordan we called the stealth bomber.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't play basketball. I get crushed, but some other stuff.
The doc kept telling me to shoot. Every time I shot, somebody pinned the ball up against the boards. I go, no, I'm not going to do that.
Although I do say the only thing I have in common with Michael Jordan is we both got cut from basketball in 10th grade.
Okay, yeah.
Hey.
But my career ended there.
Hey, Reggie.
Do you see Reggie? I don't see him on.
Do you hear me, you guys?
Who's talking?
We can hear you, Reggie, just can't see you. And your note says introduce yourselves, but you're not on screen.
This is Brad Turner. Can you?
Oh, hey, Brad.
Hi, Brad. Your video or your picture's not up.
Your camera's off, Brad.
Right. It's not working for whatever reason. I apologize. Hey there.
You're talking to the wrong guy.
Okay. My video will not work for whatever reason.
There's a phone number guy. There's a guy named
Cliff.
there's a phone number if you want to call him. Brad, I don't know if you want to call the guy.
I got the phone number. I'm on a boat in Key West, and I'm using the hotspot off my phone, and it says I have too low of a bandwidth. I could see
for
all you.
video.
Yeah, I could see you all fine, and it's coming in really nicely, but it says that I don't have enough bandwidth.
Do you guys hear music coming from anywhere? Because I'm playing some, and I guess maybe I should shut it off. I just play a little bit of.
Yeah,
I
I can hear it in the background.
Is it annoying?
No, it's kind of soothing.
Yes, that's what it is.
About to put me to sleep.
Do you want me to shut it off? I could just shut it
No,
off, right?
it's fine. It's fine with me.
Okay, because it's I play that when I'm at the computer. It puts me in the right frame. If I want to paint or anything, that's what I like to use, is kind of music like this.
Yeah, being locked in the house with COVID, we need everything to soothe us right now.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, that was Reggie that just called me for some reason. So what we're gonna do is do some quick introductions, I guess, with all of us, that are on here now, and then
Okay.
he'll bring us into whatever's next. So Arnie, let's start with you. 60, 90 seconds
Okay.
introduction. We'll go George, Brad, and then I'll wrap it up.
Okay. I grew up in the streets of New York with my mom and playing stickball. Stickball was the ultimate, and all I ever really wanted to do was to play professional baseball. And fortunately, I could throw the ball pretty hard, and I was a first-round draft choice of the Detroit Tigers, and then I went to the New York Yankees, and it was just a hell of a ride, and you really appreciate it. It was what my dreams were. And now what I'm doing is I'm trying to expand. I'm doing motivational speaking, and I'm doing artwork and trying to find a way to sell my artwork. I've never taken a class. I'm colorblind, and yet I don't let things get in my way. I refuse to. You train your mind the same way we train our bodies. And sometimes we need a little bit of tough love, and that's exactly what it is when I run into situations that I feel are a little troubling. Hey, you could do it all the time. My voice changes. That's how I try to motivate myself. Steve, you just conked out on me.
No, I went on mute, but I said very cool, nice. George, go ahead.
Yes, George Lynch grew up in southwestern part of Virginia, a little town called Roanoke. Went to college at UNC Chapel Hill. Had a opportunity to play 4 years under the late Dean Smith. Played 12 years in the NBA. Drafted by the Lakers. Went to the NBA Finals with the 76ers. We lost to the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. And now I'm coaching college basketball in between jobs. I just finished up 2 years at Clark Atlanta. And I run a nonprofit for students at HBCU to try to level the playing field, provide them with technology that's needed during COVID, scholarships, other resources that's lacking for HBCU.
Very cool. George, two things. One, check your microphone, because every now and then when you talk, it's a little bit staticky. So either check your mic, or we might have you talk a little bit louder. It picks up a little.
Okay. It looks like it's on.
There we go. No, now you're great.
All right. I need to be a little bit closer.
Yeah, just a little closer. It'll help. And then where are you located now?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte. Okay. Always good to know. Cool. Brad, you still on down there in Key West on your Hunter? Can you hear?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Very well. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Well, I'm going to provide information kind of along the lines of our with Reggie and sports and so forth. So back in '84, the second startup I did, I actually went to San Diego State, and Ray Kroc used to come to our classes at San Diego State, and he was the owner of the Padres. So the second startup I did was obtaining licensing rights with the Padres and created collectible coins way back in '84 when they finally made it to the Western Division Championships, and combined that with the strategy with a nonprofit to raise money for the Ronald McDonald House after he passed away that year. I've known Stephen for quite a while, and it's good to see you again. And Arnie, I see you were the pitching coach at Pacific Palisades, and so I went to Chatsworth High, so that's the league we were in. And Chatsworth High is the year I graduated. Robin Yount got drafted right to Milwaukee, and that's a very rare feat, as you well know.
Absolutely.
So the last 40 years, I've been starting companies and helping other companies, and done quite a bit with celebrities and athletes and developing strategies. Right now, over the last couple of years, been quite a bit of activity in the CBD and the cannabis space, working with different celebrities that are entering that space. And we currently are producing different investor events and just building out the ecosystem in that space. But back in 1980, one final thing is I did my first supplement business, and I actually used to work out of Bill Walton's house in Balboa because they were involved in supplements as far back then, back in 1980. So I'm still actively training and working out, so supplements and being healthy are part of the strategy, and it all ties back to celebrities and doing the same thing. So that's a little bit about myself.
Very cool. Brian, looks like you popped back in, so we're doing 90-second intros. And you're on mute, Brian.
Meet you guys. Sorry, I don't know why I got thrown out of the system. So, just my background. I'm a tech expert. I left the company
Hey, Brian, hang on. I don't mean to interrupt. George, Arnie, can you guys hear Brian, or is he a little? Yeah, so
yeah, a little bit, a little muted.
Same thing. And we need a little higher on the microphone or a little closer in.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've been involved in the wearables and augmented reality space for many years. We've raised about $400 million for my last two companies. We founded an industrial wearable computing company that we manufactured a wearable. It sits on your head like this. The fighter pilot display, high-def camera here. It became the #1 successful wearable for the industrial market in the world. And backed by Qualcomm, Bose, JP Morgan, Paradigm. And got involved in I come back from Africa and started rolling this out.
Kind of the same thing, Brad. I think I don't know if you've got some background noise. I'm basically personally picking up a lot of static.
Maybe everybody try to mute real quick. Maybe everybody try to mute. Can you guys hear me now?
Now you seem to come in, Brian, a little bit better.
I think if everybody mutes, we can unmute when we talk.
I don't even know how to mute.
At the bottom of the screen, there's a little microphone. Look in the bottom of the boxes.
Right.
There's a little microphone. Okay. If you click it,
it'll mute?
Yeah.
Okay.
There. Can you guys hear me now? All right. Beautiful. All right. So, sorry, I don't know what you guys heard or not. So, Brian Hamilton, last two companies I've been involved with, we've raised close to $400 million for wearable computing. So, in the two companies ago, the wearable computing got sold to what is Snapchat. And they also work with the AR app, the augmented reality applications that are in the vehicles today, like Land Rover and Jaguar. So we were involved in the automotive industry with augmented reality. And in 2016, we founded a wearable computing company that this device sits on my head. And it became the #1 industrial used wearable computer on the planet, about even more than Microsoft. And we rolled out all over the world, oil and gas, manufacturing, sports. I work with a bunch of the NBA guys, retired NBA guys like Jerome Williams and others in the sports space. as well. So we had a whole sports faction for what we were doing. And in 2019, I went over to Africa. I spent extensive time overseas, and we started rolling these headsets out for virtual rounding, consultation, teaching, and proctoring. So I was in a militarized Nigeria, and we started rolling these headsets out to help people with healthcare. And so that's kind of my background. So I'm a high tech guy, worked in sport, played Major League Baseball. He backed up Albert Pujols for the Cards. I was talking to Arnie about it the other day. And my grandfather was in the old, before the NBA, he played for the Fort Wayne Pistons back in the day, back before George changed the game. So, that's kind of our background. And, so we have a sports and healthcare background. My brother's now on the front lines fighting COVID at Long Island Jewish. And when there was no sports on TV every week, my brother was on ESPN every other day because they were doing all this stuff with him because what's it like to be a former pro athlete, taking care of COVID patients, all that. So I've been in over 57 countries implementing this technology, and it's been a crazy ride, but it's been a great one. I met Reggie on an airplane and became a fast buddy with him, and whatever Reggie needs, I'm always to help, and I'm always meet wonderful people like you guys. So life's short, play hard, have fun, and meet great people.
Very cool. Yeah, thanks, Brian. So on mine real quick, lifelong entrepreneur, never had a job. I learned early on I was unhireable, but I didn't know why. So in high school, I played soccer, track, volleyball, went on to play professional, soccer for years after college, but started my first company. I did retail stores in college, wrote 3 books when I was 20, had an actual infomercial at age 21 with Tim and Kevin Harrington called Give Yourself Credit. But the arc, real quick, 22, I went to work for Travelers Group, Sandy Weil, Pete Dawkins, Joe Plumeri. I read 357 books in 6.5 years and trained 8,000 salespeople. And I developed a very unique, specific 10-step program called a bullseye belief system. And I used that. In 96, I started my first internet company and took it public in 99, close to $1 billion market cap. And it's what went on to become PayPal. And I learned something about being specific, the target. I wanted a company worth $1 billion when I was 33, and I got it, but I asked for the wrong thing. I teach this at colleges a lot. You ask for the wrong thing. You have to be very specific. I only owned 8% of the public company. I couldn't sell it, tech bubble. So company net worth was irrelevant to what I thought I wanted. So you kind of learn these things along the way, but enterprise software, Homeland Security after September 11th, another enterprise mobile company that we took another one public in healthcare. Currently, the main project we're doing is a fintech platform. I'm calling it PayPal 2.0. The first company I built years ago kind of became PayPal. So we've got a marketplace for corporate barter. Biggest companies in the world, Ford will trade cars for computers. We're doing a deal with one of the NBA teams actually that's going to trade media assets for sponsorship. But we built a closed marketplace for corporate barter, integrated into blockchain. And then I became one of the foremost experts around the world in crypto and tokens. And we helped write the laws in Malta around virtual financial assets and crypto tokens. So I do a lot of speaking around blockchain, crypto, kind of the distinctions and differences. And, just a lot of speaking, a lot of stuff around the world, a lot of education. But that's our primary one. We have another one, Arnie, I'll circle back on you on. We have a platform called Magmo, stands for Magic Moments. You don't have to be technical. It lets you build a 4-page story with your artwork. The last page clicks to buy. And now you can text it to your friends, email it to them, or post it on Twitter. And the goal will be, I'll have my guys build this for you. The goal will be to get some of your friends that have big Twitter followings to post it for you. And then they click, read the story, and click to buy your artwork. So we've got a cool tool that'll help you. We'll talk about later. That's it. Reggie, you were trying to call me. If you want to call again, I don't know if you're in or not. I've got my phone. Reggie tried calling me a minute ago. So I don't know what our next step is.
I don't even know. Can you hear me? I just unclicked my mic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I'm always nervous when that happens.
And Arnie, it's yours with the music and stuff in the background that's picking up. So whenever you're off, if you'll go on mute, it'll clear up the audio for us.
I'm going to click off the music then right now too, and I'll still go.
That'll help.
Okay.
George, you good?
Oh,
I'm good.
Okay. So everything's cool now? You still okay? I apologize. I didn't even realize it, and all of a sudden because I'm listening to it, just subconsciously.
It's good. Brian, what'd you sell to Snap? The glasses?
Yeah, the IP. So the IP. So we had two holdings in that company. The company was out of LA. It's called.
Yeah, because the Oculus guys were here, the Snap guys were here. I have a secret house 2 blocks from the Snap offices in Venice.
Okay, yeah. So Snap and the company ended up selling its asset because it was like you familiar with ODG? He's getting on the phone.
Hang on, guys.
No worries. Are you guys all in LA? Like George, you live in LA?
No, I'm in North Carolina, Charlotte.
That's right. I figured you're down there. Okay. And
Reggie. So Reggie said that he's going to start bringing us out of backstage. He's whatever's going on. I don't know how it's working, but he said he'll start bringing us out onto stage, whatever that means.
Great.
And Brian, where are you located?
Right in the Portland, Oregon area. But I grew up in Baltimore, and I married a Philly girl, and we moved to the West Coast 3 years ago. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Steven, you and I must be neighbors. I'm in Marina Del Rey.
Well, I'm in Beverly Hills right now, but I have a house on the canals that is what it's called off book because we do so much in crypto.
Right.
That we had to keep it because when I have too many friends that have been kidnapped when they're out of country because our stuff. Well, when we're traveling and speaking, it's public that you're out of the country, so they either get kidnapped or robbed. So. Wow. I've got a house that's under an LLC out of Wyoming that's not even in my name. So I'm in the marina 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll have to hang out. They just reopened. So Zinc Cafe on Venice and Abbott Kinney finally opened. We can sit outside and have a coffee.
Yeah. They just don't right where I live. There's so much as a place called Brizo, which is new Marriott that just got built here. And
okay.
So much building.
Yeah, so much. And then Brian, I've been traveling up to Portland. We were doing work in Salem with the government around Homeland Security. Okay. But I usually stay in there's a little island right before you go across into Vancouver. Can't even remember the name of it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The little island, they got the pumpkin patch there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I usually stay right in there.
Yeah, I live in Camas, Washington. That's my home. So
okay.
My home's right. I'm on the Washington. All the old guys that don't want to pay state income tax live in Washington, like me. And then all the young kids go from Portland. But it's a nice area. We got a big state grant from the governor to come out here with my last company. So we were looking at Austin, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Des Moines, Iowa. We were trying to find some interesting tech hubs around the country.
Austin's interesting, but it's the new one's gonna be Miami. Jackson Hole, a lot of guys are moving to, but it's not an international airport, so it's tough.
Yeah.
But the mayor of Miami is really tech forward. Tax structure there. They don't have the technology ecosystem like Austin has. Motorola, Austin Ventures, the universities. Miami doesn't have that, but it's. Sure. I think that'll be an interesting spot.
No, Magic Leap's down there. They raised $6 billion. They got a couple other ones down there that are notable. Not in Miami proper, but a little bit outside
in that area.
Yeah. But no, it's an interesting world, right, guys? I mean, it's been. I hope everybody's loved ones have been okay through this crazy year we all had. It's been an insane year.
Yeah.
And, we drove cross country twice, pick up my in-laws because we moved them from Philly out here because they were just by themselves. So, like, just driving cross country was weird. You drive from state to state, and you'd almost see different rules state to state with different things. And you could do it in real time, driving it.
Yeah.
It's just
Arnie and I see it here. California, like LA, Beverly Hills is locked down. I can drive 30 minutes down the 405 to Orange County. It's open.
Yeah.
I go to Reggie's office to do my podcast. It takes me 15, 18 minutes to get down there.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
And George, where you guys are, is it shut down?
It's the same in Charlotte. You go down to South Carolina, across the border at Fort Mill, and it's like no COVID.
Yeah. Well, that's what we had to learn is COVID is afraid of food because you can sit at a restaurant and if you're eating, you can't get COVID. So it's afraid of food. In LA, we learned it was afraid of sand because Garcetti passed a law that you could go to the beach, but you couldn't be on dry sand. You could only be on wet sand. but nobody could explain how you get on the wet sand without walking through the dry sand. So it's been a mess.
The World Health Organization just yesterday put out something in Wall Street Journal that said that they were finding first COVID patients were October 2019 in China.
Wow.
And so that's coming out too. And we're doing all this healthcare stuff. We were on the front lines in China 2 days after COVID broke with my headsets and all this. And I got pictures of people wearing trash bags with these headsets on. And COVID.
I was in
Crazy.
Davos in January with a friend of mine that we travel because he's on my board. And I joke he's patient one. We're sitting in Davos like January 25th. He's like, oh, yeah, I just came in. Take a look at this. And he shows me a video, and it's this meat carcass on the ground and people chopping it up. I'm like, what's that? Oh, I got it. He had a tour with JD.com, which is like the Amazon. Shows me the next picture. A lady sitting on the floor with a big ladle of red something coming out of this, wok. And people just walk up and they're pointing. I'm like, what is that? Because it's bat's blood. Like, what?
Oh.
He was in the Wuhan wet market on December 1st in a tour with JD.com. And I joke that I'm like, you're patient zero.
I've been in those wet markets. I've been to those wet markets before. I've been to China a bunch of times. And yeah, it's interesting. So,
yeah,
they take you to show you but yeah, it's
crazy stuff.
I've been to China.
So George, how are you handling then with the teaching and the coaching and all that if you're in a lockdown area?
Well, I'm not really coaching right now. I'm just doing virtual with my kids.
Okay.
So it's okay. For my son who plays basketball, we just have to drive down to South Carolina and get his workouts in.
Have you guys got your vaccination?
No, not yet.
I got my first one. I'm due for my second one this coming Wednesday. So I am so jazzed. I got Pfizer, and I was a little lightheaded and tired, but I'm pretty excited about it.
Wow.
But it looks like I'm the older gentleman of this whole group.
I didn't want to say that.
What, you want to take some batting practice against me?
Actually, you might know my father-in-law, Rudy Jaramillo. He was with the Rangers. Rudy Jaramillo. He was the batting coach for the Rangers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I do know.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I had such a bad a good reputation. Sure. I was with